What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Coming at you from the Hacienda in Denver, Colorado-ish area. What's going on? Wait for a few people to come in. Did have a few topics I want to touch on. A lot of this shit is going to be not trucking type stuff, let me tell you. Rusty, what's going on, man? I finally kind of got out of the, super relaxing mode earlier today. Sean, happy holidays early. Well, thank you. I'm just sitting here. My wife just came home from work, and we were just going to share this with you. Got a little bit of that Booker's bourbon right there. So we're going to go ahead and get into this a little bit, spice this up just a tad bit. But, we're looking at some Booker's bourbon. 2025 batch 3. We're looking at, hold on, let me turn on this. All right, my man Rusty's on his way home. And my wife's going to finally try some of this bourbon. So let's see. We are looking at 62% alcohol. So that's about 124 proof. So if you guys were here on the last live, that was only 101 proof. So we're stepping things up here just a tad bit. Now, my wife isn't about this bourbon life, so we'll see what she has to think. Trust me, I know.
That's a cool box, so keep that.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and pour her a little.
That's my cup.
All right.
You pour what you want. There we go.
All right. Let me get to these comments real quick. You can go ahead and try that while I don't expect she's going to like it, but.
It smells like I would want it with Dr. Pepper Zero.
Oh my God. If you're going to be mixing it with some shit, mix it with some bullshit. You could always go with like a Evan Williams bottled in bond or like a Gold Granddad 101, just some cheap stuff. All right, anyway, so Rusty's on his way to Fort Worth. Man, I'm telling you, we have been so lucky here in Denver that it's so warm outside that my neighbor has their air conditioning on right now. So we're good at least for the next 8 days. That weather pattern is dropping down in eastern Colorado, so no bad weather here whatsoever other than wind. If you happen to be dropping off in Denver or Cheyenne area, stuff like that. Sean, the first time you watched the live, we're about to get into some of this bourbon on this live. Kind of got a little bit of a peanut kind of. I think Booker's is part of that Jim Beam family. I don't know. I might have to.
It is.
Okay, yeah. So Jim Beam is known for that peanut kind of a. Yeah, so we got a lot of peanut flavor on that, almost like a peanut shell kind of a.
Isn't that pretty?
Yep, kind of a peanut shell, kind of a flavor to it with a little bit of like vanilla.
Well, that print is way too little.
Yeah, nice change. All right, so.
That's actually nice.
Ed, what's up? Ed was battling with that weather on I-70. He's going to be picking up out there in Grand Island here in a little bit. Got a serious proposal for me. I'll come pick you up on the 22nd, and you team with me for 14 days. Oh, Lord, he's a comedian now, too. Yeah, no. Definitely not going to be trying to do anything like that. Now, listen. Because I got to put my truck in the shop. I just noticed something on it, and I don't even know how this happened, but between your frame rails on the back, there's a piece of metal or steel or something that goes across the back of it. and it screws in with 2 screws. That popped out, so I need them to fix that. Got to have them fix my check engine light, which I really don't care about other than this bullshit that Prime has. And, you know, oil change every 35,000 miles, baby. We're not stretching them things out. So for some reason, it takes too long to get that done. You know, what might be good is if you say, hey, Lyle, I want to go home, you know, run my truck for a little bit. I might be able to just run that truck for a little bit and just keep a few $100s a week or something like that and pay you out the rest. All right. Anyway, just to kind of have me not go over my 30 days or whatever that is. Wife is breaking in the indoor smoker we just picked up. Indoor smoker. How's that work out? I don't know.
It smells.
It smells like, I mean, it doesn't smell like a typical bourbon.
It smells good.
It smells kind of, I don't really have the best glass for this. If I did, I'd have a Glencairn, but
It smells good.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't have as sweet of a smell as most of the stuff I usually get.
Why do I feel like I smell cinnamony?
You probably smell cinnamon in there.
Like vanilla and cinnamon.
All right.
That's actually really nice.
Rusty 73 here in South Texas. Hey, Texas is always good to hit in the winter. As a matter of fact, if I'm in a bad area this winter when I come back out, I will be coming up with an excuse to get down to Texas or, you know, Florida. I am straight up going to tell my fleet manager, I got to get down to Florida to sign the revocable trust or something like that with my, you know, I'm going to come up with an excuse to get down there. Because after last winter, I was getting beat up all last winter. But then I talked to some people, and they were like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. I was getting killed last winter. And I didn't even go past Cheyenne, Wyoming last winter. And I was still getting killed. All right. Hey, Lyle, what do you think about saving money with a Russian company, then buy my own truck from Lone Mountain? I don't know anything about the Russian companies. I don't know anything about Low Mountain either. I did see a video where a former Prime driver went and bought a brand new truck from Low Mountain, and that did not seem like it was as good of a deal as buying it straight from Prime. I'm going to have to think about this here in a little bit, a few years or whatever that is, but I'm just not sure I'm ready to sign up on a brand new one. I mean, I should have enough money to pay for it cash, but you never know. But I don't know anything about Lone Mountain, and I don't know anything about these Russian companies. All right, Rusty, I want to watch Don Julio's show one day. Man, I don't do, if you're talking about me drinking Don Julio, I don't do too much tequila. My wife is about that. We've got some Reposado over there. It's not Don Julio, but I don't really mess with it that much. I really haven't drank that much since I've been, I mean, to be honest with you, I've lost my desire so much over the last 7 years or however long I've been in trucking, coming up on 7 years. It's like I probably drink easily like less than half of what I normally would. So anyway, Tito's and Soda, what's up? Greetings from Nashville. What's going on? Yeah, Rusty. Hey, Rusty said, tell him you accidentally left your coat at home. Keep me in the South. Whatever it takes when the weather starts turning, you know what I mean? Because there were some times last year when I was in that 28-degree weather, and I felt guilty even going on duty and pushing or typing in vehicle inspection because at minus 28 degrees, hey, I ain't going to say nothing. Anyway, I think I'm going to go out to sea. Been thinking about becoming a merchant marine. Man, merchant marines, I dealt with some of those guys when I was in the Marines, and those guys have a pretty good, put it this way, I don't know what the long-term benefit is and all that kind of stuff or what their working conditions are. It seemed like they were having a good time. I would say that merchant marines, you probably better off than being like a regular marine. You know what I mean?
They removed his toenail.
All right. So anyway, let's talk about some things I wanted to talk about here real quick. Let's see. Somebody just texted me. I know there's some people I'm supposed to be calling that might be on this live. As a matter of fact, one of them just texted me. Man, I just got into the mode where I'm able to even get out of bed because my first few days at home, I'm just like from the bed to the couch to the kitchen. That's about it. I mean, I did go take my truck and bring it back and get it cleaned out so it's like spotless on the inside. But haven't been able to find the motivation to call anybody or anything like that. But let's see what they said. Officially got rehired at Prime. Be there on the 5th or the 7th. Pretty excited to be coming back. Hopefully the weather's good. Where are you at? Hold on.
He was trying to see if he could get some vacation days approved. I told him, well, I mean, you could always call the doctor's office and tell them what's going on. And you can do that from away if it's a minimum of 3 days.
So anyway, I will be calling these people back here that I'm supposed to be calling.
Yeah. So I don't know the results. I don't know the results of that. I'm like, first things first, and call the doctor because we didn't. And
All right, just sent me a picture of the indoor smoker. Okay.
for 2026 Costco.
If you happen to still be on here, that is nice. Like to see how that works. All right, so anyway, let me just talk about a few things that I kind of had thought about here watching the last meeting. All right, so they were talking about the new Christmas bonus at Prime. Hold up on these comments and stuff. But they were talking about the new Christmas bonus and what that's going to be about. And you get paid like $700 if you work between, I don't know what it was, the 24th to the 7th. It doesn't matter, whatever those days were. And there were people in the meeting like, well, what if I do this and I have a trainee and I got to come back there and do this and do that? And, you know, and what if I want to stop in for the Christmas party? And listen, if you're at Prime or probably any company, these Christmas parties are not for you. Just so you understand. You just, if you happen to make it to a Christmas party, like you happen to be rolling in, you know what, and you happen to make it, that's fine. But them Christmas parties and, you know, picnics, listen, those are not for drivers. Those are for in-house staff. If you just happen to stumble upon it, then that's one thing. But listen, if those Christmas parties were for you, they would not put them Christmas parties in the middle of a Christmas bonus. Let's just keep that real. So I thought that was a little crazy to put the Christmas, like, not that it's for drivers anyway, but to put the Christmas party in the middle of a Christmas bonus. I thought that was crazy. Anyway, one other thing that Prime is doing now, which I think is a good thing, is when you come off of your trainer's truck for TNT training, they will be having a backing assessment. And what I thought was good about it was going to be within, or you're going to be backing between trailers. So that's a good thing right there. So I do have to give them some credit on that, as well as, you know, for that upgrade. All right, let's see. But those of you guys at Prime that haven't watched that last meeting, go check that meeting out. I thought it was a little hilarious because, you know, here's what it was. For those of you guys who didn't watch it, there's a guy that is a trainer at Prime. He has a CDL test lined up for his student to take, but they're not. They said they'll check and see if it meets the spirit of the, you know, whatever. But essentially, he'll be knocked out of the bonus if he does that. So I don't know. To me, I never worked because of bonuses and all that kind of shit. To me, them putting out a bonus was almost a little crazy anyway. It was like if I was in the mortgage business and I put out a bonus for like something that people should be doing anyway, then that really wasn't a bonus. And I don't think that there's that many people that are working more for a bonus than would have without it. So I could be wrong on that though. G80 Sean, seems like coming across a Freightliner through Low Mountain is scarce. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure about Low Mountain or anything like that. One thing I do know is if you could find a truck from a private party like me, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you wanted a Peterbilt and you were like, you know what, I want to buy a Peterbilt, but and you're like, well, I'll buy one from Successfully or from Pedigree. Man, I would sell a truck for $25,000-$30,000 less than Pedigree all day long, and it would be a better quality truck than Pedigree selling on top of it. So if you could find some of these prime drivers that are maybe thinking about, well, I guess you never know. I assume that most prime drivers are doing more maintenance than what is required, but I'm just going to speak for myself. If somebody was buying a truck from me and comparing that, because right now my truck is right along, even with them, definitely a better deal buying it from me. The only thing is I'm not able to provide financing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I have financed a truck for somebody, but I don't have like traditional bank financing and stuff like that. But I'm not sure if they sell Freightliners, what they got out there. All right, G80 Sean, my plan is to get an old Maverick truck and lease on the Landstar Mercer. I'll be saving a lot monthly payment. Yeah, I don't know much about Landstar Mercer. I just don't think that would be the route I would go. But there's a ton of ways to do this. You've been seeing a bunch of videos where there's company drivers talking about how stupid lease drivers are, and company drivers lease drivers talking about how stupid other people are, and owner operators talking about what's right and what's wrong. Listen, there's 1,000 different ways to do this. So, although I don't think Landstar would be where I would go, I can see why people would go there. Oh, that's the shit that's pissing me off. It doesn't piss me off. It just sounds stupid that we're having these conversations. Like, I can't imagine me talking to some of my old banker friends about who's making the most money and what's the best place to go and, all this kind of shit. I just can't see it. As a matter of fact, I felt like a proud dad yesterday when I had one of my former loan officers message me yesterday. It's really it really meant a lot to me. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Poplars, yes, I'm enjoying Hometime very much, and I will be calling you tomorrow. If I for some reason I don't call you and I forget, just call me. I did send you my number as well. I hope they don't make me go through a drive backing test. I don't think most people that have left. I don't think a lot of people that have came to Prime with a CDL that have actually drove for like over a year, they had to complete any tests or anything like that. All right, Andrea Garcia, good to see you, Lyle. Big hello from Florida. What's up in Florida? So anyway, a lot of you guys that have been here know I was in the mortgage industry for years and years and years. Started in banking, business banker, key bank. And I was going to do a long video about this, but I was like, man, that video would take like a long time. Because somebody said, why did you get into trucking? And I don't have to go back so far that it was going to be like a 30-minute video. And I was like, man, people ain't going to really want to mess with that. But I got a message from one of my loan officers yesterday. And this was after I was a manager. So I'd been a manager for a while. Then I stepped down. This is like probably 2007, maybe early 2008, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so there's a girl that I used to work with. She's probably in her 70s now at this point. But she's just having a hard time living on Social Security. She really wasn't an avid saver, stuff like that. So she was like, hey, could you come to my house and buy some art? This artwork right here is one of them. But she has a ton of different shit. And then there's some other like more fancy stuff. But I'd been calling a few people that were wanting it. And there's a girl that I'd work with that she was like, hey, because I said she has some Disney like lithographs that were like for Disney films and stuff like that. Like when they make, I don't know how they do it. Anyway, so she's like, hey, you know, I wouldn't mind taking a look at that. So anyway, we go back and forth a little bit, and she says this, and this really touched me. She says, I know it doesn't mean much, but you coaching me through my first year of being a loan officer changed my life. You were sarcastic, you still are, and cool, and always lay it down. I hope you know I would have nothing without your influence. And I said, shut up, stop lying. She's like, no, I'm serious. She said, I wouldn't have my house, my friends, or my life without you. Had things not worked out when I came over there, I was moving back to New Mexico, and I was on the verge of doing that. And then she said, hopefully I can repay you back the favor one day. And I said, you have. So anyway, that was kind of a little touching thing that happened to me. That was last night, as a matter of fact. So yeah, some of you guys that have been on this channel know that I look at the lady that got me. She's my age, but we still talk, you know. But I look at her that same way. Like, she's saved me from stuff, and it's good to know that somebody looks at me the same way. That I never even knew this. I mean, we're going back to 2000. I think she might have started in 2011, something like that. So we're talking about, this is almost 15 years ago. And I never knew this. So you never know who you're going to be touching when you help somebody. All right. Anyway, good to see. All right, here we go. Lots of ways to buy a truck. You're right on. Exactly. And that's one thing I keep saying about this business. You have everybody out here saying, this is the right way to do it. The only way to do it is to, you know, be an owner operator and have your own authority and do all this. And then there's lease drivers that are like, this is the only way to do it. And there's no other way to do it. And then lease purchase, and then company drivers saying, you know what, if it's just foolish. It's really a dumb argument. The hardest part about trucking is finding out where you fit in, because there's a ton of different ways to get into this. As a matter of fact, let me show this other artwork picture, because this other one this was kind of a throw in right here. This was just kind of thrown in, but this other one is really what I bought from her just to kind of help her out. I don't know if I can. We got all these goddamn grandkids' toys all over the place. I'm gonna fall and break my fucking ass over here. Hopefully you can see this when I turn it around. But that was the one that I had really bought from her, just to help her out. I didn't need the shit. All right, so anyway, that's all. I am really, if it wasn't for how can I put this? There's downfalls to everything, right? So there's downfalls to being a company driver. There's downfalls to being an owner operator. There's downfalls to being a lease operator, downfalls to being lease purchase, whatever. One of the things about being a lease purchase driver, or even a lease driver to that effect, is, well, I guess it would be the same for a company driver. But not being able to take off the amount of time I'd really want to take off, like really, if it was up to me and I wasn't worried about me maintaining a relationship with my fleet manager and, staying active with Success Leasing and all this kind of stuff, I would literally not come back to work until March. But I need to maintain that shit, right? So I just can't do what I want to do all the time. So that definitely is a downfall to leasing on to something like this. I mean, I guess I could go somewhere else like Landstar. That would be a benefit to going to Landstar where I could just take off all that time, but I'm not sure that I'm not sure if that equates to the low stress level I have in other areas. Time off is why I went lease at Prime, had to fight for a 34 as a company driver and said, heck, this isn't, I guess, fuck this, I'm going lease. I can understand that. Now, one thing I will say, if you want a 34 with my fleet manager, you're going to have to ask for that because that motherfucker will find a load for you. You know what I mean? He will find, if you got 3 hours on your 70 with 4 hours coming back at night and you got a load picking up 60 miles away that's going to be 100 miles, you will find that load for you. So sometimes you just got to tell him. As a matter of fact, sometimes you just got to tell them.
Yeah. So we'll see.
You just got to tell them, I'm tired, boss.
Oh, and those are, that was my first pair that I got because they told me I had to have steel toe. So I thought literally they had to be steel.
All right, let's see. Time off is, all right. So then, Mr. Ma'am, when you lease, you can only take off what you have. Basically, you can only take off as much time as your bank will allow you. And I can absolutely assure you that I would be able to take off. Well, I could probably take off till longer than I would ever think about taking off. If I understand that's, and I've always never really had to worry about, what's in my emergency fund because I've always been kind of putting in more than I really should have. So I've never really worried about that.
I had the worst blisters and had to wear like Band-Aid after Band-Aid. So I get it. Well, they weren't the right ones. So I did the right thing.
All right. Anyone about to drive on 55, 57 in Illinois? 55 is closed south at exit 100 and 57 south of. Okay, so let me say this correctly in case you happen to be driving in the area. Anyone about to drive on 55 in Illinois? 55 is closed south at exit 100 and I-57 south is closed, or I-57 is closed south at exit 203. So there you go. Earl 5197, what's up? I guess I spoke to a new dispatcher on the A fleet. I told him to set my PTA for Monday. He was compelled to tell me that he can't force dispatch. A fleet drivers, we know that. Good looking out though. You know what? There's no forced dispatch anyway, but I don't want to get sideways with my fleet manager. I always want to maintain a good relationship with my fleet manager. So a lot of times I like doing the little bullshit stuff. So when it comes time for them to try to put some bullshit on me or something I really don't want to do, I could always look back and be like, remember this? It's like I'm stacking favors up. You know what I mean? All right, Mr. Mayhem. I was a company driver for about 7 months. When I was leased, I didn't take more time off. I was just able to stay home longer because company they force you to come back. That's even if because I do know some companies they're like, you know what, if you could stay out 8 weeks and take 8 days. Listen, I'm a little bit older than some people. I mean, I know Rusty's in here older than me, and I mean there may be some up there my age, but 8 days isn't really doing shit for me. I mean, unless I only stay out for like maybe 3 weeks, and I might go to something like that. At least for this winter coming up, I might shorten this shit up a little bit and then take shorter home time because I really don't want to be out there like I was last winter. And I think I had to shut down like 3 times last winter. And 2 of those were forced shutdowns, and one of them was just like, I'm not driving in this shit. So the most time I could take off during this winter, the better. I might run a little harder during summer. But you know. All right, Mr. Mayhem, lease purchase is where you get to really take time off if you want to after the truck is paid off. Yeah, this last time I came home, I think I was off for like 3 weeks and came out like $218 in the hole. So definitely, and that was because I came home, made a bunch of money before I came home. Then that covered like that week, and then I think I was negative for that next week, but I didn't move any money over. But then some detention hit or something like that. So, anyway, I would assume that me coming out this time, I am putting my truck in the shop, so that could change things. But, probably come out with everything. I'll probably move some money over, but I'm expecting this home time with everything I'm getting done to my truck to cost me about $1,500, maybe $1,800. Could be worse. I don't know. All right, Poplars, with these winters getting worse and worse, I'm convinced we're heading to a new ice age despite global warming. Well, the global warming is why you would have the ice age. That's what people don't understand. Some people are like, well, if it's global warming, why is it so warm? Or, whatever like that. It's the warming of the ocean, which is actually creating these wild, like, patterns and, stuff like that. So, global warming is, listen, I don't want to speak out of turn. I do watch some of this stuff and I can't get too deep into it. But, once you start melting down the ice caps and all this kind of shit, then the weather turns out. You'd have to do your homework on that shit. I did watch it, but I'm not proficient enough to speak on that. But the warmer ocean weathers and stuff like that is probably what's leading to something coming up. Now, some people could say that's man-made, and some people could say it's just the normal cycle. I think it's a bit of both. All right, Earl. All right, Gene Scott, how's it going, buddy? I'm glad you're enjoying Hometime. Hope you have a great holiday, man. I haven't really done shit. I was almost going to go out today to dinner with my wife, but she brought home a bunch of food, so probably go out and get some sushi or some. There's a sushi place I'd like to go to, a Greek restaurant, and then a Mexican restaurant that I'd like to stop at. That Mexican restaurant's kind of fallen off a little bit, so we might have to find a different one. But the people that work there are so nice. I mean, I like walking in there and dropping that tip on them and knowing, it's not changing their life, but it's changing their day. Definitely. But I haven't even got into Hometime yet. All right, Earl, it's not fun on 44 in the hills when it's iced up. Absolutely. That's the one thing I got to say to new drivers. Do not follow, especially these new Prime tablet, their new directions and shit. Do not just automatically follow that because they will have you on every random off-brand road out there. And I mean, I guess some of it's just you got to learn it, but there's some routes that I take now that I never would have taken when I was newer, even if the weather's fine. But definitely when it comes to winter, you really got to focus on, what the weather's like, depending on where you're going. 80, 72, 36, 70, 40. You got to really look at where the weather's hitting. All right, Mr. Man, if you have a good dispatcher, they generally give you a little bit more leash on home time, but the ones who go by the book only let you stay home for the day per week. Yeah, Mr. Ma'am, I know people that are company drivers that actually get to take off more time than that. So again, that's always kind of flexible as well. Earl's talking about the global warming definitely creating more moisture. Denver is in an unusual pattern, and the pattern in the Northwest is in a warmer pattern this year, at least so far, because if you look at the weather pattern, it's dropping all the cold weather. Denver's staying in this little like warm zone, and it's dropping all the cold air, like eastern Colorado, like Lyman, probably further east than Lyman even, but like let's just say the Kansas border and east. All right, company drivers always have to follow the rules for who's paying the payment. You're more free when your truck is paid off. There's always the possibility of something happening 24/7. And I thought about this too. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do when this truck is paid off. I mean, I have to see where I'm at as far as the money that Prime is setting or Success Leasing setting aside, but it could just be that I keep my truck and then lease one of their trucks for long enough to get me past the 10 years or whatever, and then go somewhere else. It's a hard damn thought process for me to sign back onto a new truck, especially when I should have close to that amount in the savings account. And then at my age, I'm like, okay, well, is it better for me to invest this money into a truck or into my retirement? You know what I mean? So you add another $100 and some $1,000 in retirement, that might even, at that age, that might be close enough or make, be enough wiggle room. I don't know. Poplar's normal cycle made worse by mankind is our complete history. Exactly. And, I'm more of a scientist than a religious person. So, but even if this climate change wasn't man-made, if you can literally say, like, why wouldn't we do whatever's possible to make our air a higher quality? Some of you guys aren't old enough to remember. They're like, oh, all this like emissions and all that shit. Some of us are old enough in the 70s when Denver used to have a brown cloud. Like Denver, LA, I know for sure, used to have these brown clouds over it. And that's why California is as strict as they are on emissions. Was it took them a long time to get out of that. And Denver, you used to not even be able to see the mountains unless you were lucky on a particular day. And I'm talking about in the 70s, 80s, early 80s, mid 80s, before they really started cracking down on emissions and stuff like that. It was bad. So even from that aspect, I don't know why people are fighting having to me, I'd always say, you know what? My grandchildren's grandchildren are going to be the ones that are dealing with the bullshit we're talking about today. All this like shit, just drill. I mean, it's so short term. You know what I mean? Anyway, people are thinking about their pockets now than what's going to happen with their people generations from now. Short term thinking again. Mr. Mayhem, hey Lyle, there's a phenomenal sushi buffet in Salt Lake City. Man, I don't really get out that much when I'm in Salt Lake City, but what I do know is there's a good Mexican restaurant in Salt Lake City. The only reason I even went to that was those of you guys have been watching my channel for a while. A student that I trained, Land Shark Transportation, he had his car out there. So we went there, or we went to this Mexican restaurant once. And then we went to, well, just a regular steakhouse when he passed. But I'm so dialed in when I'm on the road, and I'm serious about this. I'm so dialed in that I don't fucking do anything at all. Like when I'm on the road, I'm not going to restaurants. I'm not going out. I'm really not even, unless it's an obvious chance where I can go to Walmart or something like that. Like I might do something like that. Like if I drop a trailer and there's a Walmart right there, I might do it. But I just can't take my head off of being in the zone, because as soon as I do, it's hard for me to get my mind back into trucking, because I really don't like trucking. So once I get out of it, the first thing I'm thinking about is how sucks it is for me to get back into it, I guess, to a degree. Gene Scott, do they have good Mexican? Oh my God. Do they have good Mexican food in Colorado? I moved to Corpus area. We have great Mexican restaurants. Colorado has excellent Mexican restaurants. I mean, excellent. And I would put some of those up against, really the influence comes from, you got influence coming from New Mexico and California. There's a whole area. If you happen to be at Prime and you go to that Denver drop yard, any of them they've had in the last 3 years, that whole area is all kind of Hispanic, whatever. So if you go to those Mexican restaurants down there where any of our terminals have been, or drop yards or whatever in Denver, all those Mexican restaurants are excellent. Denver's great for that. And what they're really good for too is green chili. All right, my man, Mr. Mayhem threw down the address for that. Man, I'm going to tell you, I probably will not get a chance to go to that one. God damn, these comments, they're not coming too fast, but they keep scrolling down when I don't want them to scroll down. All right, Propplers, got to drive, be listening, not interacting. All right. Chaos Ninja, what's up? All right, I'm trying to go back to some of this. All right, Mr. Mayhem is by the terminal, $26, and every roll is included. They make them fresh for you. All you can eat, $15, $20. That's great. If I happen to stumble on that, that's pretty much what I got out here. So normally when I come out of the house, I'm all kind of stocked up on what, I'm kind of done with all that. Poplars. My first time using a Copilot, I'm surprised I didn't end up on the internet wanting to take you to city centers that are 10 blocks away from your drop. You got to watch out on that Copilot. I'm just telling you, I think sometimes that Copilot is trying to take you over some bad routes. So I usually compare that with these other GPSs I got. All right, all right, let's see. All right, so Earl's talking about this global warming problem is when the sun starts to expand. I'm not sure when that's actually supposed to happen. myself. Young man, if you are if you are bobtail in Salt Lake City terminal that's close to Walmart, if you go shopping, you get your money's worth at Sukaya. I've never even gone to the Walmart in Salt Lake City. I'm kind of spoiled by the Walmart in Salt Lake City and by that, what's that place in Manuka? There's a grocery store in Manuka just up from the terminal. Very easy to get to. Anyway, it's expensive. But Salt Lake City, it just doesn't seem as bobtail friendly to me as those other places. It's a nice little bottle right there. Now, I'm not sure it's worth what the retail value is on this bottle. I think this bottle's supposed to be up in that $90 area or maybe $100. My wife got it because she works at Costco. I'm not sure that I would pay this much again. I don't think I'd pay that much. I wouldn't pay over that. All right. Gene, when I was running, I always used Trucker Path. They always took me to the right place every time. If other people have delivered, they ended up at different gates. I'm going to show you which one I normally use. And it's free. All right, so if you look under this thing right here, hold on. Anyway, this one right here. So if we touch on that, this is called Trucker Map. Anyway, you put in your information and all that kind of stuff. And so good example. Let's say I have a load and it's going to 2643 Southwest Boulevard, whatever. So I punch that in and I hit enter. Then it's going to say Atlantic Cold Storage or something like that. So if that's where you go, click yeah on that. Then you click on that and it says truck gate. If it already has somebody that's already put the truck gate in there, just push truck gate. If it hasn't, it'll allow you to scroll in on the thing and then click on where you want where the truck gate is. So it kind of does that for you. But I will always run that on new places I haven't been at just to double check. Because sometimes this shit we got in our truck, it'll say you're there. Sometimes you'll be like 2 blocks away from there. And I don't mean 2 blocks like you need to drive 2 blocks further. I mean, you might be 2 blocks further north or something like that. So go check that out. Trucker Map, I think that was called. Truck Map. Man, that isn't bad. It's definitely got that Jim Beam flavor to it. If you drink Jim Beam, just their regular stuff, it kind of has that flavor. Obviously, it comes out of the same distillery, different batch, all that kind of stuff, but it definitely has that note to it. A lot stronger, though, at 124 proof. But get the hint of it. Definitely that peanut Jim Beam flavor and smell. All right, well, shoot. I think that's about it. I'm about to come out here and relax as much as I can. All you guys that I said I was going to be calling, it'll probably be tomorrow. If I don't call you tomorrow, call me. Sometimes I just be forgetting shit. I got a lot of stuff on my mind, a lot of people I need to see, stuff like that. But I will try to make those calls. And as always, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Truck and Transportation. It is good to be home, not dealing with this weather. Trust me. Comment, subscribe. I'm out.